Hi, welcome to A Pod with Two J's. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Jill.
How are you?
I'm good. How are
Good.
you?
I'm good. How was your weekend?
It was nice. I was
Good.
away for the weekend.
Yes.
Went to visit a girlfriend and her husband and their extended family. Spent a lot of time outside on the water, in the boat, floating
Beautiful.
around. The weather was spectacular. We even saw a float plane come in and land, spun around at the end of the lake, and then it took off again, which was pretty
Nice.
cool. Nice way to travel if you can travel that way.
Yeah.
To pop into your cottage or wherever you're visiting. And yeah, it was lovely. It was so nice to get away and just the whole change of scenery and great conversation and food, and it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was quiet. My oldest was in Cincinnati for baseball. They won the whole tournament, so that was cool for him.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations.
It was just my youngest and I, so just got him prepared for his grade 8 trip, which he's leaving on tomorrow.
That's
Got all
exciting.
Of the stuff, bug spray and sleeping bag and all that fun stuff. And
Well, they're getting great weather for it because it's pretty spectacular
I know.
weather
I
week.
think
we're
he's
having.
getting lucky because otherwise he'd freeze his little Batushi off.
Right.
So he'll probably have fun. It's his first actual real trip, no parents.
Yeah, it's a big
So.
trip for them.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So got him ready for that. Had a tumble on a motorized scooter. I am beaten and battered right now, but
You certainly look that way.
recovering with some Advil and beer.
It's not a bad combo.
Yeah, pretty sore, especially after my other tumble. So hopefully that's it.
Well,
And,
things come in threes.
These wounds will heal. Right?
Hopefully it skips over
Yeah.
you.
So I was saying to you before, I got a Dierks Bentley concert on Thursday that got canceled during COVID. So at the Budweiser, so it'll be nice because it's outdoors. But hopefully I feel physically.
Hopefully you'll feel a little
Better.
bit better by then.
Yeah. So that was my weekend. Other than that, so I saw this interesting news story on the weekend about this concept of the first ever artificial womb facility that just got unveiled called Ectolife,
Mm-hmm.
where you basically, it's a manufacturing, you design your own baby.
Wow.
And they can produce up to 30,000 babies a year. And countries like Spain, Japan, Thailand, South Korea, and Portugal are all at the forefront of using this because they have an aging population and they need to sustain their global economy. So design your own baby, the wave of the future.
So you can pick your hair color and your IQ level and...
Yeah, probably, right? I didn't go into the details of what you could
Well,
pick,
I
but
would-
you're basically putting them in a pod and designing them, so...
So no stretch marks.
Right? No carrying, no
No.
postpartum.
None of that.
Get rid of all the chromosomes that would be...
So who would be able to manage this, make sure that it was used for the proper uses?
Well, it will never be. Somebody's going to skim through the system and create a little hellion, right?
Right, for sure.
It's super interesting. They've already, created and raised a lamb in it, so...
Well, I guess because younger generations are having fewer and fewer babies, right?
Yeah, for
People
sure.
are not having 6, 7, 8 kids like they did my mom's generation. I
No.
have 3 and people think that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Typically it's 2. A lot
Yeah.
of couples have 1.
Yep.
So, and people are choosing not to have children
That's right. The traditional roles of husband, wife, marriage, kids.
because it's more acceptable to say, I don't want to be a mom. And
Right.
before, I think people just went through the process of becoming a mom because it was just something every woman was supposed to do.
Right. That you were told you were kind of strange if you didn't want to be married and have kids. What are you going to do with your life? How selfish are you?
Right. Not so much anymore. I think that stigma's gone away.
Now it's all about nurturing yourself. And because let's be honest, Julie, if you don't think about yourself and you don't make yourself happy, you're going to lead a pretty miserable life for everybody else that you create and bring in.
Well, and also think about how many women have become mothers reluctantly and not enjoyed that role
Yeah.
because they never wanted to be a mom ever. So
And they did it to please
society, their parents,
their
their
parents.
family. And we could talk about the whole mother role. As you and I have chatted about this offline, about this whole quote I read or somebody, I don't even know where I saw this, where women are supposed to have a career like they're not a mom
Yeah.
and parent like they don't have a career.
Yeah. This quote I screenshot that I was going to send you said, there's an entire generation of women who are drowning because they were raised with traditional gender roles while being empowered to be independent. These women still take on the majority of house duties while simultaneously killing it in the workplace. And they're tired. And it's so funny because as I read that, one of the things my mom has always said to me, I raised you girls to be independent. Yeah, independent, but we still had to be mothers and work and take care of the house and take care of the kids and do a good job at your workplace.
My mom raised us the same way, that she basically said, you can do anything you want. You can be a parent or not, but you don't need a man to do. You can get in the whole man thing, but what do we need a man for? Unless you want a partnership with a man, a relationship, or a baby, and you don't even need him for that. You can go and have a sperm donation. You don't, unless you want to have a partner in your life.
Well, that's correct.
What else do we need a man for?
Right.
I'm not saying we don't want a man,
right,
but we can do everything ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
The dynamics have shifted, and I've had one for a very, very long time, but do I need one?
I don't know. It's an interesting concept because anytime I talk with my partner about what our roles will look like when we live together, I always say to him, I say, you're going to be in charge of like the recycling and keeping my liquor cabinet stocked with wine and beer. So like, that's what I like. So like, if I'm having a party,
I think you should give him more roles than just those two.
And the laundry. Bringing the laundry up and down so I don't fall down the stairs. But other than that, like cleaning, I mean, whatever. Like,
when I was married, I wasn't the cleaner of the house.
I don't even want to clean. I want to hire somebody to clean.
That's what cleaning. I had.
Yeah.
I had a cleaning crew come in every
I'm not into
often.
gardening, so I'll pass on having a garden.
I like gardening.
Like if I could have like stones, I'd be fine. Or sand, I'd be fine.
Yeah, I think there's always going to be one partner, I believe, maybe not, that does more than the other.
Yeah.
Let's talk sports. So let's talk a little bit of sports for this week. I'm not completely up to date, but I know tonight, this is Monday, the Boston Celtics are taking on the Miami Heat again. And the Heat were up 3-1 at one point, thinking they were going to, win this Eastern Conference. And then the Celtics have come back and won the last few games. So tonight's at 3-3. So whoever wins tonight goes on to the final round.
Wow.
And they had thought, I think that Florida thought they had won on Saturday night, according to my son, who gave me an update last night when I got home.
Yeah,
he said that Jimmy Butler did three buckets in a row, and they were up by 1 point, and the clock was so ticking down. I mean, if they had held on to that ball just like a half a second longer before they transitioned it over, but he did a layup and he got one in with 0.2 left on the clock.
Nice.
So the Celtics they're coming in strong. They must have the momentum. Like, they must feel really good about themselves, right?
Yeah. I know a lot of people were super pumped that LeBron got swept. And I personally don't like him. I don't think he's a great leader on or off the court. So, yeah, good.
And then we have a little bit of hockey left. We're still going, right?
Yeah.
The Dallas Stars have won the last two games. They were down 3-0. So it was a do or die. And they won the last two. They play again tonight against the Vegas Knights. So if they're able to pull out another win, they'll be tied 3-3, and then whoever wins this series will see the Panthers.
Wow.
So still an exciting time going on in Florida.
Oh, big time, yeah.
The Panthers are having a lot of rest and a huge break before the next round, which I think might give them the advantage.
Now, as a Leaf fan, are you upset that the Leafs are out, or are you at least happy that Florida's made it this far beating your team? I always wonder that about sports fans. Like, if they're going to beat us, then I hope they win the whole thing kind of attitude.
I would think that as a Leaf fan, but
And I don't think that they have that.
No, I think that if somebody could just answer that piece of the puzzle, it would change a lot of fan base and more positive about it. But when you're talking about an original 16 that hasn't won a Stanley Cup since, 67?
Yeah, probably.
That's a long time. That's a really long, that's 50-something years.
Yeah.
So I think that Toronto fans are due.
Yeah. Here we are, still talking about hockey. It's like 30 degrees out.
Right.
And baseball's too early, too many games, and
a lot of ups and downs with the Jays right now, feeling their way through it, right?
Yeah, and football will be soon coming.
Soon enough for you, and then we'll get all your Chiefs updates.
Exactly. There you go.
Top 10.
So in keeping with the theme of top 10s, this week we were going to talk about top 10 favorite beaches.
Right. Looking forward to this.
Yeah. But before we do that, just because it crossed my mind, I wanted to circle back to our little bonus episode, The Bodies of Water, and get your feedback on, now that you listen to it back, what you thought, your feelings.
It was interesting to listen to because I guess the 3 questions, because you don't know what the meaning behind it is. So you're answering them in a very honest way, right? And it was. But when I listened to that mini podcast and you were asking me the questions and then I would give you my answers, I think it was fairly accurate. I'd have to say it was pretty accurate. Yeah. But it was the water, the all bodies of water. And to hear you giggling in the background because I couldn't figure out which body of water was my favorite. Which is all about sexuality, right? That whole thing was about it. And I was going on and on about I like this time and I like sometimes
depending on my mood.
And so it was really interesting. And I've actually done that same exercise with 3 people since that. And they've all enjoyed it. A little apprehensive at first because they're not sure what's going on. But I found all of them, because I know them all, their answers were fairly accurate to who they are.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Thank you. It was a good, fun episode, I thought.
So going into your top 5, give me your first one.
Okay, my first is in BC.
Okay.
In Tofino. It's called Chesterman's Beach. It's magical. Okay. Magical, an unbelievable beach for me because it's like West Coast. I spent 4 days there. Maybe it was the whole atmosphere of it all, but it's just the tidal pools and the scenery. The fog would come in and out. It's majestic. It is absolutely stunning.
Nice. And so I just had an idea, and maybe we will follow up on our Instagram. If you have pictures of your 5 beaches and I have pictures of mine, we can do a little collage. And
that's a great idea.
And post it on our Instagram page if you want to get a visual of the beaches we're talking about.
For sure. Great.
Okay, so one of mine would be, and I'll stay in Ontario first. So last year I had the pleasure of spending a week up in the French Bay on Lake Huron. And I loved that beach. I'd go out with my coffee every morning and walk it. It was a beautiful sand. It wasn't rocky. It wasn't, weedy. It was just a beautiful sand. And the sunsets up there just reminded me of Florida. They're just gorgeous.
Well, they're big because Lake Huron is massive. So you feel like you're almost at an ocean.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, totally. So I loved that beach, and it had little dunes and Florida-esque.
Very nice.
Yeah. So that was one of mine.
So my next one on my list is in Florida on the Gulf Coast side. Spent a lot of time there with my family. It's a beach called Boca Grande, and it's on Gasparilla Island.
Okay.
So it's a little spit of land that you go over a causeway to get to. It's just magical there for me because the kids would play and it's long stretches of beach, and then you would see dolphins swimming by and they'd be collecting shells, and it's just... The white sand is incredible. It's beautiful. And you look out and you see nothing but just massive amounts of water. So it's quite beautiful. I love it there.
Okay, so I'll keep with the Gulf side Florida theme, and I'll say Redington Shores. Again, beautiful white sand, absolutely gorgeous sunset, and dolphins when you're drinking your coffee, and manatees. We saw manatees too.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, really beautiful. I love the Gulf side of Florida.
Me too.
Actually. Yeah.
I like the other side is pretty too. The Atlantic side, if you want to surf, if you like the big sort of waves, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
My third on my list is in Bermuda. I spent 5 days there on a beautiful vacation many, many moons ago.
Nice.
Scootering the whole island and exploring beaches.
Scootering.
I was on the back. I had a driver. Sorry. Yeah. It's a beach called Warwick Long. And there is pink sand in Bermuda. Yes. It's quite stunning. And there's dark, jagged limestone rocks against this turquoise water. It's so incredibly beautiful. And I could not believe there was so few people on this beach. It was almost like it was your pride. And they have this little cove. You could just sit there and hang out and sip some wine or have a picnic or just enjoy the beauty of it. This long, sandy beach. It was absolutely breathtaking.
Beautiful. I can picture it. I can picture the smells.
And the contrast of the limestone sticking out.
When you think of Bermuda, you do tend to think of like pink and turquoise. And for some reason, I've never been to Bermuda, but I do.
I would highly recommend it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a nice getaway.
So again, I'll go back to Florida. A year ago, I got to travel to Miramar Beach, which is on the Panhandle, basically. So near Destin and Jacksonville. So like along the Floribama, I guess they'd call it.
Right. I know where you're talking about.
I have not seen sand like this maybe since Turks and Caicos. Like powdery white. Like my mom saw a picture and thought it was snow. So what happens is salt comes down from the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay.
And it makes the sand powder white.
Wow, beautiful.
And obviously the ocean is turquoise blue. And yeah, just absolutely gorgeous. And rented a golf cart and you can just drive along the coast. And
sounds right up your alley, girl.
Oh, went to happy hour every day. Had our buddies from Ancaster there. It was just my cup of tea. It was just absolutely gorgeous to be that north in Florida.
Yeah, you wouldn't think of it. I typically wouldn't think that north because where I was in Port Charlotte area, we're at Gasparilla Island and even Marco Island, which is further south, right? Yeah. But that whole coastline is stunning. It is. Like the beaches there are beautiful. Yeah. There's really not a bad beach in the group. So I have one from Cape Cod from a family trip that I went on. I like both sides of Cape Cod because the Atlantic is amazing and it's called Sandy Neck Beach Bay. And it's on the bay side. So the water temperature is incredibly warm, especially in the middle of the summer. 80 degrees, maybe 82, 80. Like it's especially in the shallower parts, right? But they have sand dunes and tidal pools and all the things that you would think of as a beach.
Yeah.
So great for exploring. Yeah. I think we talked about this in another podcast where that's a special memory I have with the kids collecting sea urchins and just exploring all these tidal pools, which was beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. I have one from where my mom is from in Canada, Grand Manan Island. There's a black sand beach there called Deep Cove. And it's like not powdery. It's like black sand. It looks like black sand and very flat. But super pretty when you're just on this tiny little island to hang out and jump in the water and run around and it's not rocky.
I would say that my last on my list is a beach we went to in St. Thomas. Megan's Bay Beach. It's rated as like one of the top 10 beaches in the world. So it's in a horseshoe shaped and all mountains around it. It's very Caribbean-like, but the water is not. I had a hard time between this one and the Bahamas because I'm really a huge fan of the Bahamas. The watercolor is stunning there, but this one in St. Thomas was quite aesthetically pleasing, especially with the mountain range around you. It's much different than what you typically would see.
Yeah. You think of the Caribbean and you think you're going to get that powder white sand in that turquoise water, but not on every island.
Bahamas, there's no better water.
Yeah.
Ever. Or Exumas, it's absolutely breathtaking. Stunning.
Yeah. My last one would be our family trip to beaches, Turks and Caicos. And again, just white sand, blue water. Kids that was a great family vacation that we went on. So Turks and Caicos has great beaches too. Would love to go back there. But again, very expensive island. Very expensive island. It's not like your Dominicans or your Cubas.
No,
where I'm sure there's stunning beach. I've seen pictures of stunning beaches in Cuba. Like
I've been
Cuba's
to Cuba.
Known for their beaches.
Cuba's not on my list.
Just not known for their food. But
I enjoyed Cuba. The beach there was beautiful. I had the best snorkeling ever in Cuba.
So is that it? Did you do 5?
No, I did 5.
I did 5.
Yeah,
so there you go.
It.
So we'll do a little, like I said, collage, and you can get a little visual of
these stunning beaches here. Yeah, the ones that we love very much. I could probably give you 5 more, but we'll do that another time.
And tell us yours. If you have one, you can comment on the Instagram underneath and show us a picture.
I don't know if I did all mine, actually.
Yeah, I thought maybe you had one more.
I do have one more. I'm like, I didn't get to Europe yet. My mind is traveling around, right? Yeah. So there was a lot of beautiful beaches when we traveled to Europe a few years ago. You know, the south of France, Italy, even Barcelona. I was kind of like toying with that, but I didn't spend a lot of time at the beach there. But I think Nice, France stood out to me. And it wasn't just the beach because it's very, very rocky, right? But it was just the pedestrian walkway beside it. It's just a very famous something you could Google and look at. And then I'm standing there and thinking, wow, I'm actually looking at that picture. Right. It was the backdrop, the city behind it, the cafes. It was just, Yeah. It was a pretty unique experience, even though there were so many other beaches along the way, but that one stood out for sure.
Yeah.
That was lovely. There we go. That's a wrap on our beaches. Shh. Dirty little secret.
We haven't done dirty little secrets in a few episodes, so I've got a couple for you. I'll pick some really good ones.
Okay, hit me.
Here's one for the times, because things are hard right now for a lot of people. And somebody wrote, "Things seem so hard lately. I'm a single mom and trying to find ways to feed my kids and pay the bills. Feels like I'm barely hanging on sometimes." And she did a poll that says, "Do you find this financially tough right now?" And 91% said yes.
I think no matter what your income is right now, you're feeling the pinch of everything. Gas prices, electricity prices, natural gas prices, just gas in your car, groceries. Yeah. $8 for lettuce.
Yeah. Somebody said, "I'm in overdraft 95% of the time the last few months, really struggling to pay bills, even buy groceries. I like to think I have a decent job, but times are hard." So I think you're the only one out there struggling. I'm telling you, I see this every week in these dirty little secrets.
Well, I can attest to being a single mom.
Yeah.
That without any financial support from an ex-husband, life is not
easy.
Oh, no, absolutely not. It's not. So I feel and completely understand what these women are going through, because it's not. And then I think you get into a cycle where you just don't see the end, right?
Correct.
I mean, your family needs love and shelter and a beautiful home, whatever that consists of.
Right.
Right? It doesn't have to be a mansion. It doesn't have to be 4-bedroom. It can be whatever.
Yeah.
As long as your relationship with your children are good.
Yeah.
Right?
And you can feed them, but it is nice to have a little bit of...
It's all
breathing
money.
Right?
Money makes life easier, and don't let anyone ever tell you it doesn't.
I know. So here, just to get it spicy on a lighter note, I've been chatting with a man who isn't my husband for the past 15 years. We've only met once. He lives 3 hours away. 15 years. And then another person put that they are in the same position and they've been chatting with somebody for 23 years.
So they're basically having an emotional affair.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This also happens every week. And here's another one. "Just had my first ever threesome with 2 guys. And holy crap, it was nice getting so much attention." So there you go.
Yeah,
just, keep it heavy and then end it really light. We've got finances, we've got sex, and we've got affairs. We're a podcast of all things.
I think I'm going to remember the last one the most.
So those are my dirty little secrets.
And if you need some attention, ladies.
Right?
Just add a third.
Just add a third. I mean, I don't think that I could handle 2 men.
Oh, you probably could.
Oh, I don't know. I thought I'd be like, no, it's not. I don't know. I've never thought about threesome, so I'd have to put some thought into.
Well, think about it. We'll come back to this.
Yeah, right.
Future episode.
I have to put some thought into what that might look like for me.
I talk about a little bit about sex and a little about threesomes, and maybe throw some kink in there too. Maybe we'll have to do that on a side note.
No, we do, because sex is a healthy part of anybody's life, right? No matter what form that takes.
Exactly. And we all have different bodies of water that we gravitate to.
I'll do a little quote, a funny quote, and we can end this off here. Julie, just remember, if you die and get cremated, you can be put in an hourglass and still be included in family game night. Boom, boom. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, make a note of that.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Like we always say, please download, follow us.
Please. Yes. Thank you very much.
Give us suggestions.
And your feedback. We're loving your feedback. I posted another one the other day, which is great to hear. Yeah. Nice to get the mail feedback, which has been amazing. We want your feedback, even if you want to tell us that you want us to change something, or you don't like this, or you think we're talking over each other, or whatever. We try not to do that. We typically don't, but the odd time we do, because we get a little excited about a subject or whatever we were talking about. And we're trying to have some light fun in our podcast and have some serious discussions as well that people can relate to, because we all have stuff we're dealing with every day of our lives as parents, as adults. It's just, adulting it's fucking hard. On that note, thanks for listening. Please download, jump on our social media, look for our pictures of our beaches.
Yep.
Have a great week.
Enjoy the sunshine. Life's a beach. And you marry one. Is Isn't that what they say? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So it's 5 o'clock in Margaritaville.
That's what